So now that I have created my dashboard, I am going to add my components. And when I get into my components, you'll see that I have different component types that I can add. So I'm going to stick with general for this video, and then we're going to go through the different actual components then that are part of the general type. So the first one would be applications, really simple, handy to have on your dashboard. It's basically just quick links to your application dropdown. So rather than dropping down here and going into each one of the modules, you can click them and it's going to bring you to your icon page for each separate module. Also within your general component type, you have an attachment container, which allows you to provide a direct link for attachments. And let's say it's a particular folder or something that you want to have available to an employee on their dashboard, you would just select it here. So I'll do checks. For instance, that's just one option that you have, but you can link to any attachment container through that component type. So a billboard then gives you the option to put some content on here just to display on your dashboard. A calendar, it's really simple, bare bones calendar. But I mean, it's handy to have if, like me, you don't have your little button down here for your calendar. At least it's on your dashboard. Your closed through summary is going to give you the dates for which your books have been closed by entity. So you can do a summary view or you can do an entity view. And that's really, really handy to have. So let me just show you what it looks like for the summary view. And it's going to give me, actually, I'm going to change that to the entity view because I prefer it. Save. So by entity, then it's going to break down each application and whether or not it's been closed. If it has been closed, it's going to give you the date that it was closed on that. And I haven't closed any of mine. But if you are performing and closed, then this would be, and you have multiple entities, this is great. Even if you don't have multiple entities and you just want to see it for one, totally fine. So that's an option. Also within general, you have the option to do custom navigation. And this is an excellent feature for setting up workflows for employees. So let's say you could do one for your payroll, or you could do one for your inventory, or you might just simply want to create one for setting up your projects correctly. So what you do is you give it a link name. So you would say setup project. And then here in your menu, you link to where in the system that person has to go to do that particular task. So I would go to my projects section and I would literally just put in projects. And then, you keep going. Next is you set up your cost codes, then you set up your project contract, then you set up your project contract lines, et cetera, et cetera. And if I save that, you'll see that it gives me the link to projects. And if I click on that, then it's going to bring me to the project screen and I would add from there. And then, you keep going with your workflow, whatever workflow it is. And I mean, it just says custom navigation, but you can give it a specific title. So you couldn't call it whatever you want. So I'm going to leave that alone and keep going with my general component type. Then you can also put in your entities, which is just instead of on the home screen where you have your most recently used or your drop down of your entities, you can put it on a dashboard. But you have your main shortcuts, which is convenient links to take you directly to a page without needing to go through several menus. But these are not customizable. This is picked by Sage. So you might be better doing custom navigation rather than this. And then message board just shows system messages from your administrator. So once an administrator puts a message on the board, it would show up. And I'm not going to have any, so I'm not even going to show you that. New features then is literally just on your homepage where you see the new features that are released by Sage. It's that exact same thing, which most people would not want on their dashboard, I don't think anyway. News and events enables you to put in a URL from whatever news source that you would like to get your news from. and literally have it on your dashboard. And then what else have we got here? Report shortcuts. They are also not customizable. So I'll save it just to show you that they give you particular ones. And I mean, it is obviously general ledger, AP ledger, check register, all these ones that you'd probably be looking at all the time. But you're probably better off if you're setting up a dashboard to actually put specific reports that you want onto the dashboard, which is another feature that you can do, which we'll get to in another video. So, and then there was one more within the general component, which is your resources, which just is links to your help and user guides. So handy for new employees, maybe if they want to have that on their dashboard. And then because I have 3 different columns, I can move these around into the 3 different columns, and you can change the sizing as well of, like, let's say for this one, if I go into it, I'm going to make it 800 and save, and it's going to appear bigger then for me, and it's going to show me all of my entities. And you can also, what else can we do with this? You can show collapsed. If, let's say, it's a particular report that's quite large and you don't want it to take up the whole screen when you come into it, then you can show collapsed so that it shows up like this and you have to just pop it open. So there's some options within just the general component. So stay tuned, and we're going to move on and we're going to do some more of the components, but this is what you can expect to get out of the general component for dashboards.